So if you're a conscious person, right, tapped into subtle energies of what's going on, you may have noticed things are pretty intense right about now. We are collectively now going through what you might call a timeline split between people who have aligned with what you might call the light, a service to others, a service to love orientation, and those who are often called karmics, right, who have been living in a service to self orientation, who aren't interested in the light or aware of it. First off, I don't want to frame this as a battle between these two different types of people, because the whole metaphor of battle is one of what you might call lower vibration, a karmic cycle. But for those of you who find yourself disturbed by the intensity you're noticing, perhaps some of your relationships have gotten strange, people you were dating have gone off the deep end, right? And you may find some of separations difficult or tormenting, or maybe you're just feeling overwhelmed at times by strange energies that are coming from places you don't really know what's going on. Or perhaps you're in the heat of dealing with that, knowing what's going on, but you find that the people around you, maybe some of your more, quote, normal, everyday, middle society friends, might find you to be overly intense. Maybe they think you're crazy, right? Or maybe you're not sure what you believe and you think you might be crazy. You wonder, right? The worry that you might be crazy is part of how the, quote, dark, right? The karmics, what some people would see in spiritual warfare as demonic influences. This is one of the ways that they keep us in a state of fear, okay? And when you're interacting with people from the ordinary world, you might say, who don't necessarily think about spiritual stuff that much, but they're good people, you're very likely to trigger their unconscious fear that they're crazy, right? Which they'll project onto you, which can create complications. So just know, first of all, that it's a good time to not take ourselves seriously. It's good to laugh, right? It's good to breathe. Your mind is built this way. It's got 3 layers, right? Think of it as an Oreo cookie, okay? The top layer is what I call the creative unconscious. That's where your, quote, higher self lives. The you that's changeless, right? One with the divine, okay? That's your super badass self, okay? It lives in your creative unconscious. There's the lower wafer of the cookie here would be an unconscious mind called the primal unconscious. This contains all the wounding, all the darkness, memories from this life and perhaps others of darkness, all our fears and everything else, okay? Now the creative unconscious, you might call it the light, and the primal unconscious, which contains the dark, live in a dynamic polarity. There's a tension here. So as you ascend, basically what you do is you petition the light of your own higher self to help you heal the darkness in that primal unconscious. Now, if we just know this piece, we know that it would be impossible to move through to a higher level of ascension without going a little bipolar. You see, because bipolar condition is when a person vacillates to the manic phase up here, and then all of a sudden they get catapulted down into the depressing abyss, and they're going back and forth, and they have no stabilizing ego to help them. So there's going to always be a pretty intense oscillation on this vertical polarity as we go through ascension. There's no way around it. The challenge with ascension is when we don't understand what's happening and we don't have a conscious allegiance to this process, saying, oh, higher self, please help me heal and clear any unconscious trauma, right, that may be coming up in response to whatever's going on, right, and really have a vision of yourself ascending to this new plane. You can get caught in your thoughts and you can get trapped in fear. If you're operating in response to an external trigger, if you feel fear, good, that's fine. Allow yourself to feel it, but don't identify with it. Don't fight fire with fire. Okay. That alone, setting that intent, will be enough to have the universe orchestrate the events, the healing itself, which can happen in very gentle ways. It can happen while you sleep. This is the simple way to get through ascension. Craziness is what happens when you don't have a conscious connection to the light or a willingness to face your own darkness. As long as you're able to do that and do the basic things that allow you to survive and take care of everyday business, you're going to be fine. The majority of this work is done by forces that are unseen but benevolent. And as long as we have faith in them, we're on the path. All right. So take a breath, have a laugh, and be sure to keep petitioning your higher self. You're heading into the future of your dreams with minimal effort. You'll achieve things that in your life before now seemed absolutely impossible. The future is beautiful, but we got to stand strong right now. For the next month or so, we're going to be churning through some of the old, paving the way for that new sunrise.